Hello, I'm Debanjan Chakravarti, Head of English Interface of British Council in India, and I'm in conversation with Michael Carrier, Director of English Language Development of British Council worldwide. Welcome, Michael, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you, nice to see you.
Michael, in a conference like this, how does that sit within British Council's work from your perspective?
Well, I think it's a very important conference. It's a very exciting opportunity to see so many teacher educators in one place. In fact, I think this is probably the largest conference in the world for teacher educators in English language teaching, and they play a vital role in assuring and developing the quality of teacher in-service education and also pre-service education. Without the teacher educators, we can't be sure that teachers get the support they need to be the best teachers they can be and to give the best classes that they can do, and without the teachers, then the students don't get the best education and achieve the opportunities that they want to achieve. So it's a very vital link in the chain to get the best educational outcomes, and the conference allows the educators to come together and share ideas, to learn from each other, to share best practice, to be challenged about new ideas, perhaps change their way of thinking, and hopefully the goal always is that they go home with takeaways, with new ideas, things to try out, things to change and to challenge. And part of the process is making the teacher educators first, and then the teachers that they work with, more reflective, more giving themselves more time to think about why they're doing things the way that they are, how they can improve quality. So from the British Council's point of view, it's a vital link in the chain of our work in supporting the improvement of quality standards in English language teaching.
From your perspective, where do you see the work of the British Council in English headed globally and within India?
Well, in both cases, it's getting bigger and bigger by the day. The work is expanding. Unfortunately, the hours in a day are not expanding, so we're all incredibly busy. The global demand, as in India, the Indian demand for English language teaching is exponentially growing. Because English is now a global tool. It's a life skill. It's not a language that people are learning, it's a life skill in the same way as learning how to use a computer, learning how to drive. And so the number of people who want to learn English or improve the English skills that they have is huge. So our role in the British Council is to provide more and better quality access to English language learning and teaching. Our job is, as we see it, to help the teachers so that they can help the learners. And we want to make sure that everybody has the access to the best training, the best resources. So we're constantly investing in new types of resource for teachers to help them plan their lessons, new types of self-access or stimulus material for learners so they can carry on learning outside the classroom. So the work that we do around providing self-access material, websites, digital material like mobile, phone or radio or TV resources, that is growing very, very fast.
Right.
There is a lot of demand for us to produce more, to support people, and so we see our work developing very quickly in terms of providing a much wider resource base, not just the kind of things I've mentioned, but also new areas that we haven't always focused on before, such as employability. What kind of English language lessons or lesson materials can we help teachers with so that they can bring employability skills to their learners? Some areas, for example, academic preparation for university. There's a lot of growth in these niche areas, right, specialized areas. So we see that developing in terms of the depth and the range of work that we do. And of course, as I said at the beginning, the scale, the growth worldwide. We expect to hit somewhere around 2 billion people learning English by 2020.
Right.
And there are about 12 million teachers of English in the world right now, and we expect that to grow to about 15 million by 2020. So there's a lot of people for us to work with. And here in India, of course, British Council colleagues have also a huge demand and very ambitious plans to try to reach more people. Our colleagues here in India have done a wonderful job in teacher development and teacher engagement. They've trained, by the end of March 2012, they will have trained approximately 750,000 teachers of English here in India. The goal is to increase that over the next year or so to 1 million teachers of English here in India. and not only just to reach them in a one-time way, to have a sort of a cursory connection, but to deepen that engagement, to have a more sustainable engagement, so that we have a two-way dialogue, that we involve them in workshops, in conferences like the one we're at now, that we involve them in communities of peers between each other. So that's our major goal. And at the same time, in parallel with that goal to reach more Indian teachers, to reach more learners of English in India, the goal is to be able to impact up to 100 million learners in India within the next 2 to 3 years, using a wide range of different kinds of channels of communication, such as TV, radio, mobile phone, and so on.
You mentioned the role of technology, Michael, in all our English work. One of the challenges that we face, especially here in India, is the technology divide or the technology gap. How do you think that can be addressed? Because in a country like India, we kind of live in the 19th and the 21st century simultaneously.
It's not only in India. There are lots of countries where that is true. The question is that how do we narrow that divide? How do we help everybody have access? How do we have a more inclusive role of technology? I think the first thing is that the technology industries themselves are highly motivated to assist us in this. They're trying to make people's access to all forms of technology much less expensive. So we envisage that people's access to inexpensive mobile phones that can reach the internet will grow so rapidly that within, say, 3-4 years, almost everybody who has a mobile phone in India will be internet enabled. And that will allow us to bring English language courses directly into people's homes and their phones, because they'll have a richer technological resource. In the shorter term, I think the government and the technology experts are looking at clever ways using prepaid broadband access so people get internet access, using these very inexpensive tablets which are now being developed in India, where India leads the world in groundbreaking technology changes that make the access to these things more inclusive. What we want to be able to do, because we're not a technology company, we can't build the equipment, but what we want to be able to do is to leverage those exciting things that are happening in India and elsewhere. So, you know, the $35 tablet that people might be able to get access to. And we will provide English language lessons, material for learners, but also training material for teachers for that kind of technology. So we will try to, as soon as the technology is available, we will try to capture it and utilize it to help the quality standards of English language education. The challenge for all of us is, how do we then incorporate that into the school system, into the education system, into the day-to-day work of the teacher. Teachers need special training. They need helping with building their confidence in using new technology if they've not been accustomed to it before. They need to know what to do with this new material. But most of all, and this goes back to the teacher-educator issues here at the conference where we're visiting, is teachers need to have a different approach to their classes, which involves a kind of autonomy for the learners. Imagine, in a very traditional teaching environment, such as I had when I was very young, all the learning took place in that 45 minutes in the classroom. The teacher was very organized and would give you exactly what you had to write down and then go home and learn. What we need in the 21st century, the so-called 21st century skills, self-directed learning, collaborative learning, and so on, we need students who can learn outside the classroom. And the role of technology for me is to break down the walls of the classroom. So the teacher introduces the themes and topics and areas of English language that we are studying together. The student uses the technology to do more of this at home, on the bus to work or to school, in their private time, using mobile phones, using the internet, using the TV stations, using the radio stations, that we provide more technological support to extend that 45 minutes of the classroom into several hours of study. That's the way that we get higher standards, and that's where the technology facilitates us. It doesn't take over from the teacher's work, it supports and extends the teacher's work. So our role is to make sure that we can make that technology available, that we can provide the content and we can provide the training that allow the teachers to make the best use of it.
Thank you so much, Michael, for speaking to us. That was Michael Carrier, Director of English Language Development of British Council Worldwide.